So, even though time does not exist, I am on a time schedule right now because I have to come get my kids, go get my kids from school pretty soon. So maybe we'll have a nice short video. Um, but yeah, I did a Zoom call with some friends from the deep dive weekend retreat yesterday, and it really brought up some intensity. It's hard to define exactly. It seemed to have something to do with still wanting to be seen in a certain way, um, or even like to get credit for, you know, advancing spiritually or something, even though it's laughably backwards. And so maybe like there was kind of a, a second arrow of self-judgment. And yeah, I mean, I can sit here and look for who is it that it wants to be seen a certain way. And I mean, there's nothing there. Am I the feeling in my gut? Am I the things I see? Am I what I think other people see when they look at me? Uh, am I the story they make up after they see me and hear me talk, often based largely on their own conditioning over which I have no control? Like what's here that wants to be viewed in a certain way? And I think the answer is I mean the answer is this is the ninth fetter. This is the rising up of like just old conditioning that it's sort of directionless now. It doesn't have a home. It's just rising up like um I mean it's just like leftover stuff that just keeps bubbling up and there's nowhere to put it. There's nothing to do with it. So you just have to kind of be with it, I guess. Allow it. I mean, more in a sense, it's more of the same. It's what you've been doing all along. But these are just these remnants that if you're not careful, you can fall into the old traps of like, judging yourself for feeling a thing, which is not generally useful. I mean, that's not to say you should act on everything you think, or you should believe everything you think, but judging yourself for it um, just sort of adds pain to pain, and why do that? So, um, yeah, and generally speaking, there's still a rising up, like a something that wants to hold on to an illusion that I can escape this present moment, that there's anything uh, that wants to hang on to an illusion that there's anything beyond this present moment, that there's movement, and I can predict how it's going to go at least some way into the future, right? That it can mitigate anything. Now, obviously, I mean, I can change the temperature in the shower, and I know I talk about the shower a lot, but that's kind of like my church. It's like, oh, shower's on. It's a spiritual time, so it's almost like a Pavlovian thing where, um, yeah, I end up. It's my temple. It's my church. Um, but anyway, yeah, I can adjust the temperature of the shower, or adjust the waistband of my pants, or turn the music up, or turn the music down, um, and that kind of, I guess, it adds to the illusion that I can mitigate discomfort and change the world to suit my wishes, right? And I mean, and I mean, it's not like I'm going to sit there with burning hot water pouring over me in the shower, being like, "Oh gosh, I have no free will. I can't change this." Um, but I think the point is that I don't always have that power. I can't turn a knob and change my kids' feelings. I can't snap my fingers and have the dishes done. I can't adjust. I mean, that takes time. I mean, it takes a parent time, uh, and a parent effort. And, it's like, I don't want to be having to do this effort for this time. It's like, well, okay, then you have dirty dishes. And, I mean, um, you gotta do things sometimes, apparently. Uh, and, yeah, I can't like adjust my neighbor to be more feminist, right? Um, because last year I was sort of wrestling with a really old, gnarly crepe myrtle. Taking a bunch of the sort of dead inner branches out, and I was out there and I was like dirty and I was sweating and I was bleeding um, and my neighbor, this middle-aged guy, he sort of pulls up, gets out of his truck, looks over, and is like, hey there, doing yard work. I'm like, yep. He said, don't break a nail. And I'm like, I had a fantasy of like, turning one of these sticks into a bow stick and like javelining, is that a word? Him with it, spearing him with it. But like, look at these. You think I have press on nails? Anyway, very sort of silly and stereotyped. But whatever. It's you can't pretend that's not real. That happens. Um, so yeah, anyway, constantly casting about, trying to make sure everything is the way I want it. I mean, I want it. If there's no I, then why do I want anything? Why does that desire, to whom is it appearing? I guess it's just conditioning working itself out. I mean, karmic threads, whatever. Anyway, constantly casting about, trying to make sure everything's the way I want it, the way my conditioning thinks everything should be, and feeling like something is wrong if everything is not just the way I want it. I mean, it's exhausting and it's pointless, you know? Um, but it's still, I mean, it's still, I can still sense it. It's very strong. And I think Kevin Chanelek said it can usually take months. It often takes months, for that to kind of work itself out. And of course, me, I'm like, no, surely I can do it in a couple days. And then some big silly feeling comes up, and I'm like, no, that's not happening because I want to be a very adept spiritual person who does this super fast. And then like it's just more of the same. It's more of just like finding a new way to rise up against what actually is happening. Um, my ego trying to reassert itself by any means necessary, and it's just. I mean, I wonder what is the part of me that. I mean, it really feels schizophrenic because there's that ego that keeps rising up, and there's another part of me that is just, I guess, intellectually knows that that's adorable and nobody's special, and why would I therefore be special? It just makes no sense, and I know it makes no sense. Um, Yet the impulse or the karmic thread is still still active, I guess, and it just is. So don't fight it. I mean, don't don't believe it, but don't get bent out of shape about it either. It's just part of the universe, and I think it's a pretty normal human thing, and I think admitting it is a good step toward finally getting beyond it, so that I can really, for real, be better than other people. Because once I've really gotten past my ego, then I'm really better than other people, right? It's like it just keeps trying to find new ways. And like, yeah, I can't defeat it. I can't beat it into submission. I don't know. I guess it's uh, just notice it and notice when, yeah, I guess feel the feelings that come up around, why, what is it that, because nothing has bad intent, right? Like probably the wish to be good or better or special has to do with, times I was made to feel bad and uh, disposable. So I shouldn't, necessarily crap all over that arising. It's just it's innocent. It's innocent too. If you believe it, then you might do things that are harmful. But the arising itself is innocent. And I suspect that the more I allow feelings of shame to pass through, feelings of fear, just I mean, I get feelings nowadays that I can't really identify. It just, but there's kind of I guess a negative tone and a sense of wanting to escape from it. Um, so I guess the practice is not try to escape from it. I mean, as usual, just more of the same, I guess. Just another, without the self structure to mitigate anything, then more can come. More subtle, and maybe old layers can start to arise. Oh, but yeah, the idea of being fully in this flow of life without a real, yeah, without predictability, without solidity, without reliability. It's a lot. Yeah, I think it's gonna take time. I think it's gonna take time, and and that's okay. That's what's happening. I can I can't pretend that away either. I can't mitigate that either. I can't mitigate the fact that things are as they are, including my karmic threads are what they are, and they will go on as long as they go on. And there is a surge of excitement that's kind of arising right now because um, I don't know. I feel like joy has been really in short supply uh, in my life in general. Um, because there's always been such a sense of heaviness and density and contraction. And as that really finally starts to work itself out, there's this possibility that I can be someone who is generally lighthearted. And I mean, I don't know, I don't want to try to put words on it, but generally unencumbered, free. And there's a terror imagining that, but also a lot of excitement. And already, like, my suffering is yeah, incredibly 90 to 95% less than it used to be. Uh, and of course, you don't want to just not suffer. It's also nice to take out the stoppers on on the positive, on the background emotions of the quiet peace and joy that that I've heard are possible in a sustainable way. And I'm not I'm trying not to when a little joy comes, I'm trying not to reject or change that either. And I don't know why, a lot of people, they talk about having honeymoon periods, and they talk about um, this kind of ease early on that I haven't really experienced, since I started, in sort of 3 years ago. It kind of always feels a bit heavy, virtually always. Um, and I wonder to what extent that's just really prodding me along to, and like not letting me sort of rest at a certain point, but keep going. Um, but that's a story. Who knows? Doesn't matter. I'm happy, and yeah, cheers.